How's it going, everyone? Adam here at the Drum Center of Portsmouth, the largest independently owned drum store in the world. And we've got a very special video for you today for a few reasons. First and foremost, we're going to be showcasing a very special 150th anniversary drum set from Sonor, the Craftsmen Select Vintage Series. We'll be doing a full unboxing and then take you behind the scenes to show you how we tune the drums, record them, and everything else that goes into a Drum Center of Portsmouth video. If you're interested in purchasing the drums or cymbals that you see in today's video, I'll put the links to do so in the description below. And if you only want to hear the drums, we understand. You can use the chapter selection menu also in the description below. And if you enjoy this type of content, why not subscribe to our channel? Because we do this kind of stuff all the time, and it's an easy way to support our independently owned drum shop. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching how the schnitzel gets made. Because it's German. Here it is. Let's get this upstairs. All right, so here we are in our Sonor booth. Got a lot of nice SQ2 kits here. But that's not what we're here for today. Today, we are featuring this Sonor Craftsmen Collection Vintage drum set. Now this is to celebrate their 150th anniversary. This is a very special kit, similar in some ways to the Vintage Series drums, but it is more special in a lot of ways. There are only 100 of these made. I'm looking forward to opening these. So let's get to it. We'll start with the snare drum, I suppose. Sonor packs their drums very well. Ooh-wee. So here's the snare drum, and it is a beauty. This is a 14 by 5.75 inch snare drum. And while these look a lot like the Vintage Series, these actually have maple shells instead of beech. So we've got 8 plies of maple, and then we've got 1 exterior ply of this gorgeous African marble high gloss veneer. And these edges are rounded, so these are a similar bearing edge that you'll find on the Vintage Series. It has 16 teardrop style lugs, which I love. Gaskets on each lug. Got the upgraded throw off, the SQ2 style, which is very, very nice. Dual adjustable. And we've got the vintage super profile type hoops that you'll find on the Vintage Series. And you'll also notice that all of this hardware is black, which really sets off this wood grain. It's gorgeous. You cannot get black hardware normally on the Vintage Series. So some similarities, but a lot of cool differences. Next up, let's get the rack tom open. Yes. All right, so here we have a 12 by 8 rack tom, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Has a direct to shell mount like the Vintage Series. And here we can see that these shells are slightly undersized, which is a cool Sonor thing. Undersized shells give it a little bit more projection, and that with the rounded bearing edges is a cool combination. Ah, jeez Louise. Bet Nick DiVirgilio doesn't have to shoot his videos by himself. We have the black plated floor tom legs. Oh, it's just a little guy. That is a really nice little floor tom. Yeah, I love this veneer. It's a very popular veneer, the African marble, and it looks great with black hardware. These teardrop lugs are something else. A lot of attention to detail on these drums. Even the tension screws for the floor tom legs have a little Sonor logo on them. Very nice touch. This is a 14 by 12 floor tom. Cute little guy. Get the legs on him. I have a feeling on a 14 by 12, we're gonna want these about as high as they can go. Ooh, that's nice. All right. Yeah, we can't even see the bass drum. I'm gonna have to move the camera. So this is a 20 by 14 inch bass drum. Ooh. Got a special box for the 150th anniversary. Check out what's inside here.
Let's see what's in the box!
Certificate. We got some stickers. We've got a very nice gold key, African marble on the key, and the thumb drive. I love this. I've never checked one of these thumb drives. Maybe there's something cool on it, something German. I don't know. Oh, and it has a lanyard. Tom arm. Be gone. Yes. Got a nice logo front head here on the bass drum. Looks like a suede Remo bass drum mount there. Also black nickel plated or ruthenium plated. Let's set it up real quick, get a sense of what we're working with here. And here it is, all set up. Man, this thing is beautiful. Again, the sizes are 12 by 8 rack tom. We have a 14 by 12 floor tom, a 20 by 14 kick drum with the tom mount, and the 14 by 5.75 snare drum. And yes, this thing does look beautiful. This is a very, very special drum set, and I wonder how it sounds. So we're gonna bring it upstairs and we'll chat with Tony and figure out how he wants to tune these up. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Adam. Well, here we are. This is the 150th anniversary Craftsmen Sonor kit, and I'm really looking forward to messing around with it. We're going to swap the heads on it. You know, we don't want to mess these heads up. Someone's going to buy this kit, they want it new. So, kind of a cool opportunity to try different things out. I'm thinking these two options. We have clear black dot Remos here, the controlled sounds, and then the coated pinstripes, which I honestly don't know if I've actually tried before. So, kind of thinking that's going to be the move. Snare drum, I'm just going to go with Ambassador X. Still an Ambassador, a little thicker, single ply. Haven't used one in a long time, so I thought that would be fun. Bass drum head wise, I was thinking either doing the Power Stroke 3 black dot, which is actually kind of similar to what the vintage series usually comes with. They have a coated version of this, or a white suede Power Stroke 3. I think I'm gonna go with this. I think this is the right fit for this drum set. So, I'm gonna swap these heads out. The other thing is on the bass drum, I'm gonna use my kind of go-to dampening method, which is these super thin curtains. They kind of absorb some of the basketball-y kind of stuff, but like don't kill the low end and the tone. So, anyways, gonna get working on this now. Make sure you get a nice close-up on these super fashionable gloves. So basically, I'll get this head on, have it finger tight, and then I actually will start by tuning the bottom head first and figure out where this drum wants to be. I know this isn't a commercial for the Remo drum key, but I don't know if I could live without this thing. This is like the best. You just get you can get the finger tight thing going on with the top here, this little rubberized thing, and when you actually use the key, it's big enough that even with the gloves on, it feels really nice in your hand, which matters, especially if you're tuning drums a ton like we do. Basically just going around now to see how evenly tensioned it is. I kind of just know by feel now by using this key so many times that like I know how to feel for the tension and making sure that it's even. All right, start with the bottom head. I always use a mallet, just a little bit easier to hear the actual pitches. So oftentimes with new drums, when they come in, the heads are a little bit out of balance, so I spend a lot of time just kind of rebalancing and reseating the head. Makes it a lot easier to tune in the end. This is just like a random starting point. Honestly, not so terrible. Pretty good starting place, actually. We are going to do two different tunings. Probably have Tom do a higher tuning, and then I'm going to do a lower tuning. So I may go up a little higher than this for Tom's, and then do a much lower thing for whatever I choose to do. But that's kind of a good medium starting point. So what I'll do is leave it for now and get on with the rest of the drums and see where they want to be. So the thing that's kind of making it take longer for me to get the tension rods out is also one of the reasons why Sonar's drums stay in tune so well. They have built into the lugs inside the actual swivel nut that's in there, basically locking technology where it will keep the tension rod from backing out. You know, what it will do when you're trying to, you know, take the tension rods out is that it will make it a little bit more effort and not as quick, but hey, it works out because your drums don't fall out of tune as often. Floor toms are typically a lot more finicky for me, at least what I've found, especially when they're shallower, like depths like this. I don't know, it's something about the way that the interaction is. Bass drums, like having a shallower depth is something that it makes it easier for me to tune. Floor toms, like you would think, but not all the time. And I don't know, I'm in a little bit of a funny spot right now because I've always done the kind of Dave Weckl thing where you tune the bottom head kind of like medium or a little bit on the high side, and then tune the batter head, you know, pretty low. Lately I've been messing around with the intervals a bit more and trying to find other types of floor tom sounds. We'll see where this one wants to be. Typically with shallower floor toms like this, you know, the less depth makes it so that if you have the bottom head super high, or at least higher than you would expect, you hear more of the bottom head than you would on a deeper floor tom. Would it be quicker if we were using a drill for this? Absolutely. But, you know.
No power tools!
Alright. Let's see where we're at. You can probably hear this thing's a mess right now. Take the snare off, it's gonna drive me insane. Floor toms I usually can't help it. I gotta go low on the batter, at least to start. Unless you're doing a jazz thing. Let's see where that is. So, not perfect yet, but kind of, you know, in a lower side of medium. You know, a pretty decent interval so far. It's probably not where I'm going to leave it for either playing example, but at least now the drums have a sound that's pleasing. You know, I'll kind of mess around with it from there when it's all set up, because there's no sense in making them sound super amazing on their own, and then you put them together, and then there's crosstalk and everything sounds like garbage. So you got to kind of do it when the whole kit is put together. Make sure it's lined up all nice. This is an Ambassador X. Basically, it's a slightly thicker single ply. It will end up sounding, I would think, pretty darn close to a standard Ambassador, but having a tiny bit more control. It's also just one we had laying around and I haven't used one, so why the heck not? I should also mention I'm not really putting any actual tension on this head while I'm doing this. I'm really just getting it to where the tension rod is ready to apply tension to the head, but I'm not actually doing that yet. So
it's a nice looking snare drum.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm not usually a black hardware fan, but I think because of the fact this is black chrome and not black nickel, that looks a little bit more premium and kind of special to me. Bottom head. I'm gonna do this so I can super low right now. This is like that area where when people bring in their snare drum and they say, this drum doesn't sound very good, I flip the drum over and it's usually this type of bottom head tension where it's like so low that the snare wires don't respond properly, and then they usually crank the wires like crazy because they're getting too much sympathetic buzz when they hit their toms. Bottom heads on snare drums, at least to me, need to be tuned pretty high. That way you're getting like the actual optimal snare wire response. Good place to be. Honestly, the bottom head thing, like, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect because the wires and all of that, it's like, it just, the pitch doesn't have to be dialed in. It just, even is good. So, gotta do the whole thing. Let me press on it a bit because this thing is brand new and cracking like crazy. Another thing to check too is to make sure that the wires are evenly spaced on the snare bed. So like, you don't want one that's like pulling really close to one side because then it's not going to be pulling evenly. This is pretty close, but actually I'm going to back this side off of here and tighten this.
Dual adjustable strainer.
Dual. Kind of a nice upper medium tuning there to start with. You know, the one thing that's super important about wires too is to make sure that they're not too tight, because if they're super tight, it pushes the bottom head up in pitch, and when it does that, it actually creates this weird pitch bend thing that when you hit other parts of the drum set activates the snare wire sympathetic buzz even more. So even though you think, well, the snares are buzzing, I should probably tighten the wires, it can kind of go in the opposite direction and hurt your sound more. So don't over tighten your snare wires. Bass drum time. Unless you're going for a super open sound, I don't really bother with the leave it wide open thing, especially if I'm putting mics on it, because acoustically it can sound great wide open. The problem is that as soon as you put microphones on it, it's just this wild, wayward, ringing kind of sound that just doesn't translate well when you record it. I mean, it can if you're going for a specific vibe, but to me at least, most players, most bass drum sounds have at least some level of control and muffling. More distant kind of ambient mics, you can get away with it more, but if you're gonna put mics right up on it, like, you gotta have some control on the bass drum, otherwise it's just kind of a nuisance. Okay, so for the muffling, like I mentioned before, I use these really lightweight curtains. They have like really no weight to speak of, so they're not adding mass necessarily to the inside of the bass drum. So I do kind of feel like instead of killing the sound, these kind of do a slight bit of control without sacrificing low end and all that good stuff. The only thing that's annoying about it is they move around all the time, so you can't really nail down where they are. So that's why I'm doing it this way, where I'm going to have the bass drum kind of upright. If this falls, it's my fault, and that's going to be an issue. But I think we're going to be okay.
I feel like I'm a nature photographer. Like, I want to help, but I need to let nature take its course.
Yes, you do. You don't want to interfere because, that might screw up the
order of things.
Yeah.
I like the T-rods.
Yeah. Yeah, they feel nice to use too. Sure. I think it's good for people to see this too, honestly, because I think they think that like we just hang out and play drums all the time, and we do get to play drums, but only on occasion, and it's actual work. I mean, it's fun work, and getting to get my hands on with drums that some people will never be able to see in person is definitely not something I take for granted. But I guess we're a little more jaded than others, right?
Yeah, I mean, a job's a job, but I mean, I would never get to hear a drum set like this for sure.
Right.
Otherwise, unboxing it was a nice experience.
Yeah, you get lots of really amazing drums through here, and there's still always just something a little special about unboxing a Sonor kit. To me, maybe it's because I have such a connection to them from my father playing Sonars, so hearing them as a kid, and then starting on my own Sonars, it's just always been a thing for me. I tend to go higher on the resonant head as well. Let's see where we are. So kind of a nice starting spot there. Again, like everything else, I will set all this stuff up, see how it sounds as a unit, and then kind of tweak from there.
You're going to grab some different cymbals too, right?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I always think Paiste when I think high-end, nice drums, but I don't know.
What do you think?
I like
these
the
two
intervals of this one and the one in your hand.
Yeah. I agree. So I brought up 3 different crashes for this position: 602 20-inch thin crash, a 19-inch dark energy, and then a 20-inch signature full crash. That I ruled out immediately. It just didn't fit the vibe. But we're thinking these two. So I I like the interval between the two. They're not exactly matched in terms of like their volume or like the tonal characteristics, but I'm actually good with that because it kind of adds a little bit more nuance to the cymbal setup. Ride cymbal, I only brought one because this thing is usually pretty great. I own one, Adam owns one.
Yep.
22-inch Dark Energy Mark II. I'm sure it will be great. Exactly. And then the hi-hats are Signature Traditionals Medium Light 14s. I love those. Yeah. So anyways, that's the cymbal setup. Now we'll mess around with the kit and see what it sounds like. So we have the drums set up. They're placed in an area and kind of position-wise that feels pretty comfortable. And I think it won't annoy Tom too much. He might move stuff around. But I've tuned this up on the higher side for his playing, and I think it sounds great. I have my mics kind of placed where I think they should be. You know, I have my 3 overhead thing I've been kind of having fun with lately, which is a stereo pair of SE Rupert Neve RN17s with a Lauten Audio Atlantis as a mono overhead. Then I have SE V7X on the snare drum with a SE7 side fire right next to it. SE7 side fire on the rack tom. One of the SE T2s on the floor tom. Been really enjoying those. On the bass drum, I might play with this a little bit. I haven't listened yet, but I have SE V kick here, Lauten Audio Clarion, and then my little technique where I put the BL8 on the floor near the resonant side hoop. Works great. Then I also have this close pair of stereo rooms, which is the SE Electronics Rupert Neve RN-R1 ribbon mics, and they're in a bloom line configuration. That's a really nice balanced kind of natural image of the kit. And then when we go to the rooms on the videos, this is what you're hearing. These are the Earthworks QTC 30s in a stereo, just capture the drums in the room position. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what these sound like.
All right, it's recording day. All set up. Tom here doing work before he records. Tony was doing work, but now he's gonna record.
Or something.
Yep.
Where the heck are my earplugs?
that's going to do it from all of us here at Drum Center of Portsmouth. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video until the end, and for your continued support of our independent shop over the years. We'll see you in the next one.